Welcome to Technado with Don Pizzette, featuring sysadmin expert Don Pizzette, security specialist Daniel Lowry, and Peter.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Technado with Don Pizzette. I'm your host, Peter Van Rysdam, joined, as always, by Daniel Lowry, because not as always by Don Pizzette anymore, but with Daniel. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing great. I'm wondering when we're going to rename this thing.
Technado with Daniel Lowry.
Or Technado with sometimes Don.
Yeah. Well,
or
this is our
Technado
fault.
with Don Pizzette.
This is our fault this time because Don is sitting in the studio wondering where we are.
He is.
And we are out here in Las Vegas for BlackHat.
We stole the credit card.
Took the credit card.
And we're here.
He hasn't canceled it yet. We might not make the flight home. But we are out here for BlackHat, and we are at the Pinball Hall of Fame, which is an amazing nonprofit that just moved to this new facility in April of this year and has, I don't know how many pinball machines, but
4 at least.
It seems like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have all the pinball machines. Their newest one is the Mandalorian right here, which is pretty cool.
Not bad.
And their oldest one is from like the 1930s, which is
That's
like made
crazy.
of wood. And
The ball is wood.
no, the ball is a glass eye from the founder. I don't know if that's any of that's true. But so what we're going to do today is a little different than our normal Technado where we look at the news. There's still a lot of news that's happened, but we'll get to that next week. This week we're going to talk with a lot of the people we're meeting out here. Technically, in terms of how this schedule is going, BlackHat's really kicking off tomorrow, but the training has been happening ahead of time and a lot of the networking stuff. So we're going to have some people you know. The Mandalorian's talking now.
Yeah.
We're going to have...
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way. We've got John Hammond is going to join us. Shane Hasert, we've talked to before. Some new people as well. And yeah, it's going to be a good, exciting time. You looking forward to it, Daniel?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I get to hang out with my boy John. It's always a good time.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
And meet some new cool people that have some really cool stuff to talk about when it comes to security.
And we also ask everyone what their favorite pinball game is here, so we get to the bottom of that.
We have to know.
So let's go ahead and jump to our first interview with John right after this fancy Batman-style transition on Technado with Don Pizzette. All right, welcome back to Technado with Don Pizzette. Still no Don Pizzette here, but we've done even better. Daniel and I have found John Hammond of Huntress. John, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, everybody. Thanks so much for letting me crash the party here.
Of course, and so, well, you didn't just come for the party. You're out here doing some training, so I was asking Daniel, I said, is he doing the training or receiving the training? So where was that?
Well, I think it's funny. Yeah, you gentlemen, I don't know if they'll tell anyone listening, but they just happened to, you found me off the streets of Vegas. Like I was stumbling across the strip and you're like, hey, you want to come to a podcast with us? No, so I was taking the Advanced Windows Exploitation training course that was offered at BlackHat, and it's been a whirlwind. That was about a 4-day course. It was pretty intense. It was all hands-on stuff, very nerdy, very geeky, bypassing exploit mitigations and doing all the shady hacker elite 0-day stuff.
So those things, I mean, I looked at all those trainings and what was on there, and I saw all kinds of levels, like, you know, super beginner stuff to really advanced. I mean, where did that one fit in terms of, like, you needed to have a really strong base before you came in, or hey, this is your first time hacking Windows?
So it is titled Advanced Windows Exploitation, so that certainly adds
that was
to
the tip-off?
a certain caliber, yeah. And they let us know, like, fellas, this is an extended hours course. We're going to start class early, we're going to end class early, we're going to cut lunch in half, and you're going to be working on your homework all night. So I might have amassed, I don't know, 8 hours of sleep that you should get in a single night across the 4 days. But it was a lot of fun. Genuinely enjoyed it and learned a heck of a lot of new stuff.
But you know, it's cool stuff like that really kind of pushes you beyond your boundaries.
Totally.
And it's you can only get that really if you come to something like BlackHat to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Right? And then people you meet and the cool ideas you exchange in those classes, it's invaluable.
I agree. I'm super happy to be here. It is honestly just sort of a family reunion is kind of what I like to think. I know we haven't been here for a little bit of time, but like, hey, this is like it's Hacker Summer Camp. Everyone's here, want to come hang out with you. There are too many incredible people here. It's like I just got to go see the next friend, the next family member.
So in terms of tomorrow is when BlackHat really kind of kicks off with the expo hall opening, some of the other talks and stuff, because the training was either 2-day sessions or 4-day sessions ahead of time. So what are you looking forward to tomorrow? Like expo hall or sessions you got like penciled in?
I'll be honest, I haven't been taking a whole lot of look at the sessions of the trainings. I know a good few friends that are offering some super cool research, so I did want to at least go support them, go see what they're offering. But truthfully, and this is totally just a John answer, I do want to go hang out in the expo hall. I want to go see the vendors, and I know it's a madhouse, I know it's a zoo, but there's so many great folks to chat with or network, and really that's one of the great values that I see at BlackHat across some of the others.
I'm going to see John pushing a shopping cart, just grabbing swag.
Oh, totally.
That's what he's
Free
here
merch.
for.
Yeah.
Don't try to tell us.
Is that a stress ball? Is that those socks?
Just put it in the kid. Just put it in.
So Daniel was telling me, I haven't been to BlackHat before. I've been to the B-Signs in Vegas and stuff, but I thought it was more of like the villages and stuff, but that seems to be like more DEF CON, right?
Totally DEF CON.
Yeah. Okay, are you staying for that as well?
Absolutely.
Nice.
It's so funny. So, in full transparency, I was at a trade show for my own day job a few weeks ago. Then we had a company retreat. Then we got BlackHat. Then we got DEF CON. So I've been on the road for a little bit of time now. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm an introvert. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I give off that vibe or not, but my batteries are depleted by the end of the night. So
an introvert with hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube and stuff.
And please come say hi.
An introvert that wants people to speak to them?
Oh, yeah.
It's weird because, John, you probably experienced this as well. When you're just going to family functions or regular stuff where people don't do this kind of thing for a living, and you try to talk about what you do, they're completely lost at this. So to be able to come together and talk with people that know exactly what you're talking about.
They're like, hackers are allowed to go out in public and meet each other? That's not.
They go outside?
Well, all of a sudden we start coming out of our shells and, spreading our wings a little bit and getting excited.
I've had to explain to people what ethical hacking is and what pen testing is. They're like, oh, I didn't think hackers could go and have a conference.
Yeah, that seems illegal.
Yeah, the FBI puts this on just so they can round
just to
up
get them
everybody.
all.
No, but
there's spot the Fed.
Got you, Russia.
There's probably a lot of them here though.
Probably
a lot of feds, a lot of 3-letter organizations.
I remember we were at B-Sides one year, and the NSA was there.
Yeah,
and they had a table, and they had like a pizza box they wrote with a Sharpie marker, NSA. Yes, that NSA.
Yeah, I remember that. We're like, boy, they spent the whole budget apparently on,
hey, they really blew it on this, didn't they?
To us. Yeah. Well, John, really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us here because we've had you on the podcast a couple times now. We've had you on webinars.
Yeah.
But this first time I've met you in person. Is this the first time
First time, man. Wow. First time.
Does it live up to the hype for you?
It does.
Okay.
They say never meet your heroes. That's some garbage right there.
I still haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I feel like the first reaction was like, whoa, John is a lot shorter than I thought.
No, it's Daniel's a lot taller.
So I'm usually taller than most people.
And as we mentioned in our intro, we're here at the Pinball Hall of Fame. Is there a game that you're looking forward to trying? Or have you had a chance to peruse the floor
I haven't
yet?
had a chance to peruse just yet. But Daniel let me know there is a OG Punch-Out.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm going to go play Punch-Out.
What, like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
No. So Punch-Out, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is a predecessor to Punch-Out.
Oh.
Yeah. That was an
lore. That's canon.
Dude, there's a YouTube channel called Gaming Historian.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, definitely you will go down a rabbit hole.
Oh, they would love this place.
Yeah. Oh, they would lose their mind. Yeah, it's super awesome.
Very cool stuff here. Yeah. All right, well, thank you again, John, and we'll let you go have some fun, and we will talk to some more people here, so we'll be right back in just a second on Technado with Tom Bissett. All right, welcome back again. We have found Shane from SentinelOne, who is joining us now. Shane, thank you so much for joining us. And so, SentinelOne, very big company. What do you do there?
So I'm a senior solution engineer there, and really, I'm kind of a field evangelist. I get out there, participate in a lot of the regional conferences, help educate, and of course, work with customer prospects to help them understand the technology and ultimately why they need to adopt a next generation and advanced endpoint detection and response platform.
And so those that maybe aren't as familiar with SentinelOne, what exactly do you guys do in a high level?
Yeah, when you look at the evolution of endpoint protection, of course we start with antivirus, and that started in the very early days. But as was discovered, it was insufficient, did not provide enough insight into what was happening, and largely was driven by known bad factors. Like, these are things that we understand to be bad, so sure, we can block them, but what about the unknown bad, right?
Yeah.
And so then you see the evolution of endpoint detection platforms like Carbon Black as a first generation EDR, and as well as CrowdStrike and other companies like that. And SentinelOne kind of came out in that lot. I mean, I would classify us as a second or third generation endpoint platform, but 100% autonomous, right? So that's really the big differentiator. It's 100% automation while still providing red teams and blue teams access to the telemetry they need to understand and analyze what has happened.
What would you say is the big struggle with EDR right now? The kind of the next roadblock they're trying to get over?
I mean, really, the biggest roadblock is the intractability of entrenched management, right? You have large companies that are like, well, our Symantec endpoint protection works just fine, and they tell me it provides telemetry, but that's not really the case. You can, the best reference that I would say without, drinking too much of the Kool-Aid is head over to MITRE, go to the MITRE Ingenuity attack evaluations, right? That team is fantastic. They actively work with all the vendors so that they can provide their best foot forward. Right. And so I think that's probably the fairest, impartial evaluation that you could get for some of these technologies. And, working for a company that has shown very well in those tests, and the only company that's been 100% autonomous, right? That was actually part of the reason that I moved over from RSA to SentinelOne, was looking at the evolution of the technology that's needed in the field, and making sure that I align myself with something that isn't snake oil. Right?
It's funny. Well, I did RSA one year. I was at the RSA conference, did a bunch of interviews, and I realized I kept going, so what makes your product different from everybody else's product? And here you are, you're like, well, we have a difference. We are completely automated. You do not have to do anything. We take care of it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's striking that balance. You've got, small, medium-sized businesses that like, look, we can barely understand that we need this kind of technology. Right. There's no way they're going to service it on a daily basis. And then you have Fortune 10 companies that are like, well, I have 180,000 endpoints globally that I need to protect. Right. Some of them are in active war zones, right? And so,
there is that.
Yeah, and so being able to accommodate both ends of that scale uniformly is pretty unique. I don't want to turn this into an ad. I will say, check out what we're doing from an XDR perspective. We're the only platform that has a unified data lake on the back end that we open up to customers. So every other vendor out there is like, well, you can use this, you can use this. Yeah. We can use Kafka streams to shuttle data. No, here's the data lake. Yeah. You can have it all.
Let me just hook a pipe up to you and give you access and call it a day.
Exactly.
And this segment is, of course, brought to you by SentinelOne. SentinelOne.com.
I will talk to the marketing team.
It's funny, you think about these things. You get these big conferences, you have a lot of vendors here, and you think, are a lot of these companies really concerned on whether or not we have a more secure world, or are they just trying to peddle a product?
Well, and that's absolutely. I was so excited. I was saddened and excited at the same time, but I was very excited when Tomer Weingartner, our CEO, came out when the Ukraine conflict started and said, we are making SentinelOne available to any Ukrainian organization. Yeah, we will make the engineering staff available to help them deploy it, no cost until years after this conflict is over.
Yeah, handle your business. Don't worry about this.
Yeah, and I just thought, man, it's great to work for a company that can be that actionable. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I'm not just in this business, to be a part of a large vendor. I actively teach. I want to see new people come out. I try to get out into the community spend some time in the local libraries and helping people just understand why security is important and breaking down multi-factor authentication for people who barely understand passwords.
Exactly.
Right? So I think there's a lot of things that we can do as professionals to better our community and make the world a better place. And there are people that just really can't navigate this at all.
And it's definitely my experience that people in this community, yourself, other people, John, we just had on, we love to give back. We love to try to help people, like you say, that might not understand this and why it's important, and just give it to you. Just, hey, this is going to help the ecosystem as a whole, so let's just push it out there.
Well, and sift through all the cruft that's out there. They're getting bombarded, and Norton say buy this, and WebRoot, and all. Like, look, you can approach this very low cost, very smartly, but you need some help. You need someone to help guide you through it, right? And unfortunately, many of them don't have that. I get family members all the time to go, what do other people do when they don't have you, right? And like, they suffer.
They do.
They suffer. They get compromised. Their accounts get popped, and it's sad.
It is.
So you've got a booth tomorrow, and you guys will be there. But do you get to break out at all and go to any of the sessions or anything you're looking forward to?
No, it's actually why I stay for DEF CON. Okay. Right? Because most of the sessions that are at BlackHat are also at DEF CON, and then I can actually, say sip on some whiskey during the conference, right? So no, BlackHat's all work, and then DEF CON's all learning and all play.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. First of all, before you go, is there a pinball game you're looking forward to playing?
There absolutely is. It's right there, and I'm so sad that it is powered down. Is
that Elvira?
Yeah, Elvira.
The Mistress of the Dark.
Yeah, my wife and I were stationed in the Army. We actually got off early because we did a blood drive, so we were out the door at 6 a.m. We went down Highway 1 to San Luis Obispo, and our first date, we were in a pizza parlor playing Elvira all night.
That is awesome.
It's so,
yeah.
It's sad that it's down.
It got you in the feels.
Yeah, it got me in the feels, but at least it's there.
So you get a photo with it at least.
I did.
Yeah,
awesome.
nice.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time with us today, and really appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back a little bit more right here on Technado with Don Pezet. All right, we're back here at BlackHat for Technado with Don Pezet, and we're joined now by Tanya from Cofens. Tanya, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Oh, how are you? No one's ever asked us how we're doing.
So much.
That is very. We're good.
So polite.
We're very good. So tell us about Cofens and what it is you do there.
So Cofens is an email security company. We provide crowdsourced intelligence for email. We have threat intelligence products that we feed into our products. We have products that help the SOC analysts be able to defend against those threats that come in past the gateway. And then we started with our flagship, which is our phishing simulation, and kind of just evolved from there. So we really are focused more on that email security, crowdsourcing those IOCs.
I'm curious on that crowdsourcing side. How does that work? Is that other customers that are reporting things back, or is that just general things coming from outside?
So it's multiple of things, right? So we have where companies can use that reporter button if we have a reporter that is a SaaS version. But then we also have multiple customers that we support their products for them for email security. Mm-hmm. And then so as those IOCs come in, then we take those and spread those across those other customers that are also in there. So we have multiples of industries. So you might see an IOC come in one industry for credfish, and then as we spread it across, we could see that it actually hits that. We also take those IOCs and then auto quarantine into one of our other products called Vision, where as it comes into immediately when it comes in, it detects that IOC and then automatically auto quarantines those out.
Nice.
So we're constantly feeding our human vetted IOCs into that product, so that way you're constantly protected and like shortening that dwell time, right? Eliminating that from the user to even interact with it.
Yeah, one of the talks that's coming up at BlackHat is going to be about trying to, because we're not going to get people to stop doing risky things, right?
Right.
They either, I know, it's a shocker.
Well, that
We've tried.
And then the threat actors are constantly evolving, right? They're looking for those points. Yeah.
So we have to try to create a more safe environment for them so they can have some grace to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Even though we try as best we can. So it's great that it's like, using all that information to try to just give them the best sanitized email experience that they can have.
Right.
And then realize, hopefully, that by the time an email does get to them, that it is safe for them to be able to, well, I don't know if I should click this link. It looks legit, though.
Yeah.
And hopefully it is that point.
And that's why we still encourage, okay, if you did interact with that, still report it, right? There's still value in that, because then there's still that, quarantine it from the rest of the users that maybe didn't recognize it.
Yeah, because people are afraid of getting in trouble, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, we are not even going to go down that road. But also, we also take those same real phishing emails, and that's what we build our templates off of, right? Because we want to make sure that you're constantly training them on what's currently active in the threat landscape, right? An e-card from 20 years ago, those are blocked by your spam filters, right? That's not what we're seeing making it through. Right. So really keeping your users in tune. Credential phish is the top threat that we see.
We do, I mean, we're talking about the news every week and who got hacked this week, and it always comes back to, well, how did this get? Well, they were phished. It was
they clicked the link, they downloaded, they opened a PDF.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we saw the Twilio one that just came out this weekend.
We just talked about this.
The credential one, right? And then they turned around and then sent them SMS messages with the link that looked very similar. So it all comes down to making sure that your organization knows what to look for, what are the services that you use, and how should they interact with.
What are the domains that we actually use?
Right. And how do you actually create a support ticket, or who is going to be sending out those messages, right? And
so one thing I think can be super helpful is to kind of create that tribal or cultural scenario where everybody's kind of talking about their phishing email. Hey, did you get I got this one phish, it was crazy. And then people go, oh yeah, I've seen that one. I've got one like that.
We have a Teams channel.
We do.
Where people
if you get one,
screenshot it.
Yeah, you put it in the channel, then everybody can see what are we being attacked with.
Right. Because not everybody gets one, right? So if you haven't ever seen or experienced one,
then
what do you look? Then
well,
what
first
does
of all,
it
you
look
have
like?
experienced one.
You just don't know it, right? Or you haven't read it, right?
Yeah.
And we, this is a constant battle that we deal with too when we have organizations that want to make their scenarios unique so that they don't have the groundhog effect, but actually you want them to do that during the real thing. So I'm sorry, it screws up your metrics.
Right.
But
it's
real
what
world
you want
and it's
them
helpful. To do,
yes.
right? Yeah.
So what is your role at Cofens?
Actually, I started a brand new role, and I just took on the CISO role for our organization.
Congratulations.
So, so I strategic advisor is what I've been doing the last 4 years, because I have been a customer of Cofens before joining us, so I know the product. So it's
you're not only a client, right? Or you're not just a CISO, but also a client.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, that too now, but. So having that knowledge of what it's like for awareness teams, incident response teams, and then being able to help our internal teams and our product teams know what that means to that customer perspective.
Right.
And then also just helping our customers run their programs.
Very cool.
So
So do you guys have a booth here, or are you just kind of walking the floor and checking out sessions?
I'm actually attending sessions to see what's on the threat landscape. So,
Are there any that you've kind of circled as like, hey, that's one I'm really excited to see?
You know what? I've been just thumbing through the agenda, just looking for things that are, what's up and coming, what should we be looking out for? Anything malware related, although Credfish is the top thing, but it's always, everybody always wants to see what's the latest and greatest on those threats.
And malware is interesting.
Right.
And a very important question. We all grew up with pinball. Is there a favorite here that you're excited to play?
Okay, so I wasn't really into pinball, but somebody told me there's a Galaga game here, and that was
the arcade games are on the side.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
It's a Miss Pac-Man Galaga combo, 1981 original.
Galaga. Oh, I used to line up the quarters for that one.
That's the one I need to get in the house. Like if I had a machine, it would be the Galaga.
What about you guys?
Miss Pac-Man.
What's your favorite?
Honestly, probably that too. I wasn't as big of a pinball person as like the arcade games. Like
we used to have a big Miss Pac-Man thing going on around the studios.
The other one that I really liked was Centipede. That was
a great one. Yeah, I'm an asteroid guy. Love asteroids.
Yeah,
Galaga for me. And then Miss Pac-Man, obviously.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time with us today, and we'll be sure to. I think we've talked to Cofens before,
you
right?
have.
On the show. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was like, we've definitely had this some of this conversation. So that's great. All right. Well, thank you so much, and stick with us. We're gonna have some more interviews coming up right after this on Technado with Don Pizzette. All All right, welcome back. We are joined by Patrick now, who is with Nucleus Security, you said?
Yeah, that's right.
See, I can spell it and I can say
Good job.
it too. Thanks.
Proud
I'm
of you,
really proud
Peter.
of that. And what's really cool is you are the only person tonight that came to this event on a skateboard. And
That's right. You got to bring a skateboard.
And I was telling you outside, this is the skateboard I had when I was like
No
8
way.
to 10 years old. A Rob Rotzkop, Santa Cruz.
That's crazy.
Same thing.
So my brother still has his original Dogtown board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, those are good
with
stuff.
Buns Brigade stickers on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So have you been skating since like that board was around?
No, I was born in '84,
Oh,
so I
damn
was
it.
2 years old
Son
when
of-
this board came
Yeah.
out. But I love the classics.
Yeah.
I've been skateboarding since I'd say the mid '90s.
Yeah, and I can see that one is actually has, some grind marks and stuff. So you're not just, showing off. You're actually doing
You're no
it.
poser.
I like to do transitions, so like half pipes. I can do some airs,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
You know,
we're here to talk about
we're here-
security.
security,
right?
I
Yeah, I was
forgot
about
about
to say,
that.
Rodney Mullen's from Gainesville.
I
right?
love Rodney Mullen.
We're from Gainesville.
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
If you read his book, it's kind of interesting. He had a 10 by 10 square,
Yeah.
and he taught himself all these
Yes.
tricks and invented
Yes.
all these tricks
Just in that space.
Yeah.
just in that square with like incredible amount of focus.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Super crazy.
Awesome story.
Love
If you
those old videos.
I can't remember the book, but everyone should go read that book.
Yeah.
And I think it applies to cybersecurity.
So
because
read
it's
that
like-
book. Yeah.
That Rodney Mullen's book.
Yeah, just the focus in skateboarding and like trying things over and over again. It's almost
Yeah.
like pen
That's true.
testing or
Right, because
other
in this
types of
business,
tactics.
you basically have to be willing to get punched in the face like 100 times, and then you get to punch back, but it's the winning punch.
And that's the
kinda
same as learning a
cybersecurity.
trick. Like,
Right.
yeah, you're going to fall 100 times, then you're
Right.
going to get the trick.
Well, and this goes to cybersecurity with startups. A lot of the cybersecurity founders I found actually skateboard.
Really?
Like several of them. So like Doug Song from Duo Security, I skateboard
That's
with.
funny.
So it's this aspect of counterculture too.
Yeah.
But the persistence, right, and having to
Right.
continue to try something over and over again until you get it right.
Right. And then try to
is-
outthink, why is this not working? What am I doing wrong? Minor adjustments.
Yes,
Yeah.
super relevant to actually like real applicable security business skills.
I feel like we got really deep here. Like,
Yeah, sorry,
comparing it.
skateboarding.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
So-
a philosophy of life.
So Nucleus, tell us about Nucleus Security. What do you guys do?
Yeah, we do enterprise vulnerability management. So we help large enterprises in aggregating all their vulnerability and asset information, and then helping understand what things should be prioritized for remediation. Because the reality is these large enterprises have, and a lot of times, tens of millions of vulnerabilities across their whole enterprise, across networking and software and application security.
So is that who you're working with, like Fortune 500, kind of like the
Oh,
large enterprise?
Yeah, certainly Global 2000s is
Okay.
the primary market in which we're in, and also managed service providers at scale.
So what's your role there?
I'm VP of marketing,
Okay.
but I have a technical background. So
Yeah, Daniel was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Peter, you're gonna have
There
to
we
talk to
go.
him."
Yeah.
'Cause I-
so I do get it, but I build the whole sales engineering team at Duo.
That's cool.
So like spending hands-on technical
Right.
experience and helping build some other organizations too. So like helping spin Census out of the University of Michigan, and then project before this, Lumira, and running sales, marketing, and product. So
wow.
doing all sorts of stuff, but it's kind of nice to actually be in like a single role, single function, focused on marketing.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. Like, how do we speak to the clients, right? And communicate in a way that they understand.
yeah.
That seems to be a real issue in cybersecurity, is being able to translate to our clients, giving them actionable information that they understand and can use. Like, how do you bridge that gap? How do you make that connection?
Well, I think first, like, the challenge is a lot of marketers don't have subject matter expertise.
Sure.
So that fundamentally becomes a problem of like, let's grab the latest buzzword. A lot of people think zero trust or XDR or whatever else you want to grab. And
We all take a drink.
and the reality is like that doesn't help anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like really being able to focus on what's the real problem that the organization has, targeting that persona to say, hey, we can actually help you solve this specific problem is some of the best things you can do from a marketing perspective, and be true with what you actually do. Because frankly, a lot of people aren't true with what their capabilities are.
Right.
And
It's
so,
unfortunate, but it's true.
but to be fair, a lot of the marketers, because they don't have the technical backgrounds or skills, they don't actually know.
That's true.
And so it's a real interesting phenomenon when you walk out on a floor and see all these different terms people are using from a marketing perspective that just don't make any sense.
Yeah. So you guys have a booth here?
Yeah, we have a booth in the Innovation City.
Very cool. Is this first BlackHat you've done?
No, we did last, and I've been doing BlackHats on and off since like 2013, 2014.
Oh wow, okay, for quite some time. Or do you get to go out to any of the talks and stuff too, or do you mostly they keep you in the booth with?
I mean, yeah, being more in like a sales engineering, sales marketing function. Reality is you usually don't end up getting to go to the actual talks, which is unfortunate. Because there's a lot of cool stuff, but like one of the things I'm pretty excited about is like, we have people on our team going to the talks, which will be then publishing content about those talks live throughout the event, which is pretty cool to share information about what's going on.
Very cool. And the biggest question I've been asking everybody, what game are you most excited to play here? Is there one here that brings back memories?
Yeah, I actually, like, this kind of funny story, but like last year I had a viral TikTok, it got taken down, but like 40 million impressions, and it was actually Novelty Vintage Arcade. So
why did that get taken down?
Why did they take that down?
There was.
It wasn't.
Or do we want to know?
The pinball machine we see over here.
No, it's just more or less the reality that like I don't think the content aligned with the platform.
Okay.
Is the reality of like some of these social networks, right? Yeah. But mostly focused around Vintage Arcade. So I'm really like passionate about these. One I did play, the Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Bowling Pinball is probably the funnest pinball game I've played, and I'm a pretty big pinball fan.
Nice.
But there are some pretty cool like novelty games in the back that like you just don't see many places. So
yeah, there's a game here too. This one right here actually is worth $3 million. They said
the Pinball Circus.
This Pinball Circus.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a one-off, and I guess the only other one they had burned, or not they had, but that existed. So it's the only one. It was kind of made as a concept, which is just ridiculous. Yeah. And it's right by the door. I feel like you could just walk right in and wheel this sucker out.
Yeah.
So I know what I'll be doing tomorrow while you guys are all BlackHat.
A little Ocean's 11.
I don't know how easy it is to pawn a one-of-one video or pinball game though. But
you're definitely going to have to get a black market on that.
I'll see. I might
not taking that to like Pawn Stars over here.
I might not get the full $3 million
in
that case, but we'll see. Well, thank you, Patrick, so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks. Take care.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, come back with more Technado with Don Pizzette right after this.
How do IT leaders stay on top of their game? With the IT Pro TV webinar series. Twice per month, IT Pro TV presents a webinar on current topics in the IT world.
What are some of the key things we should be doing in our organization to make sure that we're prepared for disasters? And then,
so what do you say we go ahead and get started with today's topic, how to train your end users to
threats. So we're going to talk about some of the major things that you need to do to help keep your people safe while they're working remote.
You can catch IT Pro TV webinars live or watch on demand when your schedule permits. See them all. Visit itpro.tv/webinars today.
All right, welcome back to Technado with Don Pizzette. We are joined now by someone who we've been joined with before. We looked it up, and Shane was on episode 192, so just over a year ago.
Deja vu all over
Shane
again.
with CyberGRX. Shane, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you guys again, or actually to see you in person.
In person,
yeah. Right? So has a lot changed in the last year?
Actually, with us, it really has.
How so?
We've actually brought in a lot more analytics. We brought in a lot more data. We're actually doing a lot more predictive analysis. We're helping our third parties and we're helping our customers really get to risk management, risk mitigation, instead of just the biggest problem around third parties doing nothing but compliance.
I probably jumped ahead there, but if you want to remind people what CyberGRX does, for those that maybe have not paused and gone back to episode 192, bring us up to speed.
Absolutely. So CyberGRX is a two-sided risk exchange for third parties as well as their customers. So we help the customers identify the risks for their third parties, and we help the third parties fill out one questionnaire and send it out to multiple customers because everybody's asking the same questions. The third parties are getting inundated with Excel spreadsheets or spreadsheets in general, and we really need to get to something that's a little bit smarter for both sides and get away from compliance and get more into risk management.
That just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
So what does this event look like for you? Do you guys have a booth, or are you here attending sessions, or a little bit of both?
We do have a booth. I'll be running demos with a couple of my peers. My team actually does validation, so we've actually got security backgrounds.
Okay.
A few of us do. We also work on content. We're open to hearing content recommendations. Then we take them before our committee and see where we go from there, and hopefully we can improve our content, even though, like I said, we're all kind of asking similar questions.
Yeah.
But everybody says it just a little bit different, so you can't use the same answer one time to the next.
Yeah. Have you done BlackHat a lot before?
I've been here 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I guess. Yeah. Was this hybrid last year or in person? I don't even know. I don't remember. If it
I don't know.
I don't remember last year.
Well, we weren't here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter because it was clearly no good last year. This is my first one. You've been here once.
My first one.
Oh, I thought you came with Don once before.
My first.
Really?
Oh, okay.
I think I was here in 2015, 2016.
So any tips for us then, things we need to check out?
So I was telling everybody when I was here before, there were people walking the hallways with anything that would put out a signal. So it was like any credit card you're not using, put it in the safe or a Faraday bag.
Yeah.
Go buy a burner computer.
Is that more DEF CON
phone.
Or is that BlackHat too?
That's BlackHat.
Really?
DEF CON is actually the defensive side, the blue team.
Okay.
Whereas BlackHat was more the red team.
Huh.
So I have to assume I've
So
already...
is that still a problem? Like, if you come to BlackHat, should you be like burner phones and
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, do you have your regular phone with
brought
you?
a burner phone and I brought a
good news is
throwaway computer.
There's a T-Mobile
Yeah.
right down the street. Go grab you a prepaid.
Well, this is the time you need those RFID blocking wallets and
absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely.
This is the show that you need that. I think my new one is, so I'm set. I'm good. Though I've probably already been hacked just being here. So
they used to make big stories out of the social exercises and the hacking events. They could whose phones that they had gotten access to, whose computers they had gotten access to.
The wall of sheep, right?
The wall.
Yeah.
That was at DEF CON, though. They do that at DEF CON, yeah.
Interesting. So, we're here at the Pinball Hall of Fame. Are there? Are you a pinball guy growing up?
Love pinball. There's a lot of the old historic ones here.
Got
too.
your eye on anything?
Actually, the one I really wanted to play is down.
We've heard that from a couple of people. I think they get a lot of games here
what
that
it
are
is that those probably get a lot of use.
Well,
so they're the ones going down.
What was it? Haunted House.
Okay.
Was one of the first tri-level games.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Nice.
And it's
tri-level.
Yeah.
See, I'm having enough trouble with single
flat
flat pinball.
Yeah.
So I think I'll be staying away from that, but it's down luckily. So anyway. All right, well, thank you so much. And I guess we're at the schedule where in a year we'll connect with you again.
Sounds perfect.
All right.
I will still be in security.
Yeah, and we'll probably be back here at BlackHat. We'll be doing it again.
Sounds good.
We'll
Thanks,
talk to you
guys.
then. Thank you so much, and stick with us. We're going to do a little bit more Technado with Tom Pizzette right after this. All right, welcome back to Technado. We're joined now by Jake from Safe Security. Jake, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
We are good. You still good?
I'm feeling real good.
Yeah, you said your voice was a little...
It's getting a little raspy.
It's a long day. It's a long day here.
So we were doing a bunch of meet and greets, so
yeah, that's
you're
true.
kind of yelling in here.
Oh, I wasn't talking to anybody, so it was easy. So tell us, what is Safe Security? What do you guys do? I mean, that sounds like a security system, like in your house, but it's not.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We went from Lucidus, was our previous name, to Safe Security. If you're familiar with Lucidus.
Yeah.
But Safe Security, ultimately, we feel as though we've been the pioneer in cyber risk quantification management. I know that's a mouthful. Gartner kind of considers us in the cyber risk quantification
Pretend
quadrant.
I only went to third grade.
Exactly, right. Yeah. So what does that mean exactly, right? So think of Safe Security in the quadrant of how do you assign risk scores objectively to subjective ideas? Perfect example.
Yeah.
You as an organization, you might have 35, 40, 50, 100 different projects, dashboards, etc., telling you, hey, we're the most important measure, issue, mitigation component. How do you as an organization make the most objective decision on how do you mitigate those risks?
Okay.
So SAFE, based upon the algorithm that we've created with MIT, ultimately populated inputs associated with all of those different APIs that we're going to feed into to give you an output to say, hey, here are your next best action items you can take. as well as the ability to report up to the board, report down to your team saying, here's how we're going to make these efforts, here's where we are compared to everyone else in the industry. Kind of that in a nutshell. So that's really what SAFE is doing in a high-level overview. And as you can imagine, that goes in many different directions: operational risk, insurance risk, individual risk. So yeah, there's many different ways you can peel the onion.
You said developed with MIT. Was that like it spun out of MIT, or how did that partnership come to be?
That's a good question. Our CEO and co-founders actually started off in penetration and red teaming.
Okay.
Doing it for Google and McKinsey and all the big companies out there. And realized that there was an opportunity to say, hey, we're giving you these penetration and red teaming results, but there's something missing, right? Even though I'm giving you this, there's still all kinds of additional layers that you're really missing that could be potential areas of penetration. So what our co-founders did was they went to the fact of saying, look, if I pulled in APIs from all these different components, be it your penetration test, be it from your EDR solution, be it from your vulnerability scan, configuration assessment, all of these different areas, how would I digest that data? So that's when we actually had some conversations with Boston Consulting Group, got in with MIT, co-developed some algorithms, at which point in time we built a team of data scientists. So it wasn't developed at MIT in particular. Our CEO just has a background of working with a lot of these organizations, which therefore kind of created this algorithm that we use today. So think of it as a Monte Carlo simulation. The Bayesian network is what we ultimately have built this on the backbone of, to ultimately populate that risk score and again, predict a breach, predict where your issues are going to be rather than prevent it or detect it.
Got it?
Nailed it.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's a lot.
A lot of math to make sure that you are triaging in the right way.
Exactly. And so that's the thing, guys, right? I am not a cybersecurity professional by trade.
Yeah. You're too well dressed.
Exactly, right.
I was going to say.
I don't fit in. No,
have you met us?
Normally I have a a huge mustache, though.
Yeah.
So
there should be mustard on your shirt. I don't know.
Yeah.
You look like you bathed.
Yeah, this week at least. Yeah.
We're losing listeners, I'm told, by the hundreds. Yeah.
But the thing is, again, if I ask you what is your risk posture of an organization, you're going to say, oh, yeah, you gave me $1 million to buy an EDR, you gave me $500 to buy a vulnerability management tool, etc. Well, what SAFE is doing is just saying, look, you're a 3.5. The industry says you should be a 4.0. Here's where your peers are. Here's your remediation efforts. You can report that to the board, where then next quarter you're like, hey, do we go from a 3.5 to a 3.6 or to a 3.2? Okay. Tell me why. And again, it's taking all of the scientific data, again, all the jargon out of associated with risk posture, just saying flatlining, here's where we are, here's where we improve ourselves, potentially financially, as well as objectively within the organization's skill sets.
So it sounds like you're basically making a standardized metric and a way to devise that metric based off of looking at their peer group and coming up with that standard based off of that.
Very much so. That is very much part of the case. Yeah. And as you can imagine, same thing, right? Your CEO or your COO, they don't understand what we do in cybersecurity. You again say, hey, here are the networks or nodes or issues that we're having. They're like, okay, over my head. Yeah. Tell me something else. If you could say you're sitting on $2 million worth of risk, they're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense.
They get that.
And same thing, that's what we're translating this data into, an interactive cost model where you can actually see this is how much on the upper bound or lower bound of risk that we're sitting on financially as well, operationally, whether you're in healthcare, financial services, et cetera.
Very cool. Yeah. So what are you guys doing here? Do you have a booth, or are you kind of just networking?
We're just networking and mingling, actually. So we're a Series A startup.
Oh, okay.
So let's see here. We've been around now. We did our Series A round in summer of last year.
Okay.
Prior to that, we did our seed round in about 2020.
Nothing like starting a business during COVID, right?
Yeah, we always preach, right? We're the best salespeople ever if we can sell work in a COVID time frame. True. So it's been fun. It's been exciting. But yeah, just doing some networking, kind of figuring out where we fit. We were at Gartner and RSA, and in those kind of scenarios, there's a big emphasis on risk. Seeing a bit of that here today too. So yeah, trying to figure out where we fit in and where those conversations should be had.
Very cool. Now,
I like it.
What we've been asking everybody, is there a game here that you're most excited to play, or brings back the memories from the pizza place down the street as a kid?
Funhouse Pizza, that is, by the way.
Funhouse, okay.
Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri. Go Chiefs.
No way.
Yeah.
Springfield.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an Ozark guy then.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to MS?
Oh no, I was a little kid when I lived there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So actually, I'm not a pinball guy. Okay. I'm a skee ball guy, and there's a skee ball machine directly in the back. Yeah,
I didn't
there
even
is.
know that.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Now you cracked the code.
Yeah.
So see y'all.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us about Safe. It sounds like a really cool system, and it's something that people should check out. What is the URL if people want to check that out?
It's just safe.security, period. And if you're interested in any kind of interactive cost model, risk calculator based upon the ransomware of your organization, there's a free sample on the website. You go in and put a little bit of data, and you get that out. You get that self-populated. So pretty interesting.
Very cool. Check that out. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all. We'll be right back. A little more Technado with Tom Bissett right after this. All right, welcome back to Technado. We are joined now by Chris from Threat Quotient. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're having a blast, I think, still.
Awesome.
And so tell us a little bit about Threat Quotient for those that are not too familiar.
Yeah, so we came out of the defense industrial base as a threat intelligence platform, a way to kind of gather all that data together, deduplicate it, normalize it. And we're growing into, as the space expands, growing more into that automation market. Not so much in the SOAR space. We're trying to stay away from those guys, but more into this emerging XDR. It's interesting in that it feels like this is what we've been talking about for the last 5 years, and now someone finally put a name on it, and we're like, oh wait, that's what we do.
Yeah. We didn't know how to explain it before.
Right, Eureka. Thank you for the name, guys.
So what do you do there?
So I run the threat intelligence engineering team, and recently took over the customer success team as well. So I try to own that whole customer life cycle, from bringing them on board, really getting them set up in the platform, getting them successful, finding value, and just all the way through.
Very cool. So what are you guys doing at BlackHat? Do you have a booth, or are you kind of more networking? And
yeah.
I mean, it seems to be like the place to come, and even if you just went to the parties, you've had a successful trip.
Yeah, for sure. We fly a little bit under the radar. We don't have a booth. We have a suite. We've been doing this for the last 6 years. Come out here and meet with our customers, meet with some prospects, and just, celebrate the security industry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what this is about.
Yeah, well, we had John Hammond on earlier. He said, what did he say? It's like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, we
like
always
a
call
hacker summer camp.
Yeah, that's what we, it's the summer camp for security geeks. I mean, that's what somebody told me today, a former coworker of mine reminded me that, so this is DEF CON 30 this year, and he and I started coming at DEF CON 13.
Wow.
Which made me feel old and made me realize we used to make fun of the graybeards. We used to call the guys that would sit on the panels graybeards. And then, oh man, I don't know when that happened, but somehow it snuck up.
No, it works. It works on you.
Yeah.
In his defense, he colors his beard.
So we were actually having this conversation a minute ago about last year was virtual. Did they have it? Or
no, they did have it. They had it last year.
But not in 2020.
Not in 2020. They did have it last year, and it was, in some ways, I think it was actually better in that it was more intimate.
It was probably just like the diehards.
It was it was a small group, and you can always, you can use a good barometer is the eye candy bar in the middle of the hotel over there at Mandalay. Last year, you could just call someone, text someone, and meet up and get a table, get a seat, and get a drink. Now it's back to normal.
It's back to the pre-pandemic levels.
It's packed.
I heard like 20,000 is what they were guessing, which is great.
I'm so happy to see it. So happy to see people get back out. We got to be safe. We got to figure out the right way to do it, but we have got to get back together face to face.
So this first time at BlackHat for Daniel and I. So we'll be hitting the show floor tomorrow the first time. Any tips from a graybeard?
I mean, I'm just saying, look at everything and ask the hard questions, and that's what's fun about it. And if they can't answer the hard questions, move on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that's what they get for putting salespeople in the booth and not engineers or people that know what they're talking about. So I'm saying this as a marketing person. That we shouldn't be talking all the time to
just stop.
Okay, see, I'll do it now. So here at the Pinball Hall of Fame, any games bring back memories?
Oh yeah, I saw the Cyclone over there, and that one, man, for me, growing up in Baltimore, Maryland, would go to Ocean City with my parents every summer, and that.
Oh, it's like the roller coaster Cyclone one.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
nice.
with. It's got the Reagans sitting in the front seat of the roller coaster.
That's awesome.
And that, that brings back so many memories.
I saw Gorbachev on another machine over here. It was I can't remember what it was, but I was like, that's Mikhail Gorbachev. That's a weird thing to be on a pinball machine.
Trying to get the ball to hit him in the birthmark.
Right there. Good Lord. No, this is great. I love this place. I didn't know it existed. My cab driver didn't know it existed either.
Neither did mine.
But, but then when we turned the corner and you saw the giant pinball, we're like, oh, that must be the place.
It's hard to miss. Yeah, once you get outside.
No, but this is great. I love that these machines are here. I love that people are playing them. It's awesome.
Every cent that they get goes to charity here.
Which
is awesome.
Yeah, great.
So very cool.
Pinball people they're a very specific group of people.
It's a specific age, I feel like, because like if you grew up more 80s, you're more into the games that are against the wall over there, the Galagas, the Pac-Mans we were talking about. But before that, a little bit, it's this was it.
Yeah, these are great. So. These are great. I'm glad people are keeping them alive and taking care of them. And this is awesome.
So if people want to find out more about the company, what's the URL?
ThreatQ.com. We don't make you spell Quotient.
Thank God.
If you want to, you can. Both will resolve the same, but ThreatQ.com.
That is so much easier. Thank God. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And we're going to take a quick break, come back with a little bit more right here on Technado with Don Pezet.
Welcome to IT Pro TV, an e-learning company with thousands of hours of engaging video training for IT professionals with fresh content added daily. What makes IT Pro TV stand out? It all starts with our edutainers, who create better-than-classroom experiences for training you look forward to watching.
So an edutainer is someone who takes a topic, an educational topic, and makes it more fun, enjoyable. My vision for IT Pro TV was to make the product that I wish I had when I got started.
The dashboard is great because you can actually pick up right where you left off. You can also end up seeing new courses that are available to you, and with a membership, you have access to a variety of study tools.
Follow along with virtual labs and test your skills with practice tests. And unlike traditional training, you aren't handcuffed to your desk. Sure, you can watch from there or from your couch with Apple TV and Roku apps, or from anywhere with mobile apps. The training is even available for download. If you're ready to watch and learn with the IT pros, check out the flexible membership choices online today at www.itpro.tv.
All right, welcome back to Technado with Don Pezet. And we've got, I think we're down to our last guest of the night, but a guest that joined us all the way, well, probably the furthest today of anyone, all the way from the UK. So can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company?
Sure, my name's Steve Wade. I'm the lead architect at KSOC. So we are providing kind of remediation and auditability and RBAC kind of visualization for the Kubernetes landscape.
Okay, so is this, how old is this company? Because Kubernetes not been around for decades, so how long have you guys been around?
So we've been around for 8 months now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
This is brand new.
Brand new, yeah.
What, are you, have you been around since the beginning? Are you one of the founders, or where?
So I joined month 2, so I was the third engineer on the ground, essentially.
So was this like a need that they saw and said, we've got to start something like this, or did this kind of come out of another company, or how did we get to where we are?
So I think like the spoiler is really Kubernetes is not overly secure out the gate. And loads of companies are all kind of having the same kind of issues, right? And all of the engineers that work there, we've all previously experienced these issues, and we've been building kind of hand-cranked implementations to fix problems. So rather than us going into consultancies and companies and fixing the same problems over and over again, why don't we come together and kind of collaborate and fix the problems once and for all. We know the market because we were the market, we were looking for products previously. So we know what people are going to want. It's just a case of kind of putting all those things together. And the Kubernetes community and the Kubernetes landscape is moving so fast that you've really got to be on top of this stuff. Like, for example, role-based access control, no one does it right. Like Kubernetes or not Kubernetes, it's constantly moving. Someone rolls off of out the company. You have to remove their privileges. That's just like the easy implementation. Then when it comes to Kubernetes, you've got all of the workloads that are running in the cluster as well. So what we're trying to do is simplify that landscape, because from an outsider looking in, it's a daunting prospect, right? You've got hundreds or thousands of containers, hundreds of thousands of workloads. You've got loads of RBAC privileges that you're trying to work out. How can we distill that down to something very basic and provide meaningful advice to customers? So not only, yes, your workloads are insecure, but this is how you should secure them.
Okay. So is this a SaaS solution?
Yeah, it's a SaaS solution.
Okay.
So you install our agents inside of your Kubernetes cluster. They report back information about workload management, RBAC management, et cetera, and then we provide you remediation advice off the back of that. So we have a custom-built rules engine. We run everything that we essentially consume in real time against that rules engine and provide you remediation advice off the back of that. The next step from that is we don't just want to be a notification engine. We want to simplify the security engineer's life, essentially, right? The last thing they want to do is see a load of rows in a table and not really understand what is the most important thing. So how can we help them do the job? So let's provide them not only the advice, but let's provide them with the configuration snippet that they need to actually fix the problem. So they can spend more time doing, the stuff that's really valuable to them, and then we'll do this kind of semi-mundane pieces of that.
So if you guys are only like 8 months old, is the product fully built out yet? Or are you guys like in beta, or is this fully released now?
No, so we're in beta. We've got some innovation partners that we're working with. We're building feature sets for them, talking about our previous roles in companies that we've worked in before. We've taken those features that we would have liked to have or that we've hand cranked ourselves, built them as well. So yeah, it's constantly evolving, a roadmap between what we want as consumers in our past lives and also what these companies are looking for.
Yeah.
Some of them is an exact fit. We've already built it out and it aligns straight away. Some of it's new stuff that we didn't think about because we're just in previous companies we never run at that scale, as an example.
So Daniel, I feel like months ago we talked a lot more about security issues with containers and stuff like that, and that hasn't been what we've been talking about as much recently. What?
Yeah, we haven't really been seeing a lot. I guess people are starting to pick up and use solutions such as yourself to go, oh yeah, this is a problem. It's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Everybody starts focusing on those things, so you start seeing less of it. Of course, don't worry, we'll get complacent soon enough, and then he'll be like, come
on back.
We're ready for you. We're ready for you.
Give us your pounds and your dollars and all that stuff.
I was waiting for you to come back.
So is it a UK-based company or is it here in the US?
It's a US-based company, but we're fully remote. So
it can be anywhere.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. So we've got people in Poland, myself in London, and then people spread across the US.
Awesome. So is this your first time at BlackHat then?
This is my first time, yeah.
What impressions so far? I mean, I guess really tomorrow is when the expo.
Tomorrow is when it really starts. Yeah.
So
we've got a cabana. People are to come through, see what we're doing, give us some feature requirements if you have any new feature requirements that you want us to work on. So far I only just landed yesterday, so I haven't really seen
a great... So you're just jet lagged to even take it in.
Deal. Yeah, 19 and a half hours of travel will kind of do that.
Oh my God. So, have you been to Vegas before?
I have not.
Because there's nothing like this over there, right?
That's accurate, yeah.
So speaking of all this, was pinball big in the UK?
I think it's got a scene. I'm not part of that scene, but I think it has got a scene.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like if you grew up in the 80s, maybe even into the early 90s, pinball was a big part of your life or arcade games. But I didn't know how much that made it across the pond. But are there any games you're looking to try out? And I won't just stereotype and say that the Austin Powers game is the one that you have to go play. Because,
I'm sold. You said Austin Powers,
Yeah.
I'm in.
I mean, there's the Union Jack right there on the side.
It's ticking all the boxes.
That was the
I
one
don't
box.
see how you could avoid it at this point.
Yeah.
I walked straight past it and didn't even realize.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Oh, that's terrible. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about KSOC.
No problem.
I mean, as we said, it's kind of a cool thing that we haven't really talked to anybody about containerization and that kind of stuff recently. So it's good to hear that that's still on the forefront of someone's mind. Someone is looking at this.
Hopefully a lot of people.
Yeah. Hey, what's the URL if people want to find out
So
more
it's
info?
just www.ksoc.com.
Okay. You can still get a 4-letter domain name? I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, they got the funding, is what that tells me. They got the 4-letter domain. I was expecting
Some angel investor dropped down.
It's ksoc.biz, and it's yeah, that's awesome.
Angelfire.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all, and we'll come back and wrap things up on Technado with Don Pizzette. Well, we mentioned it earlier, and this is the $3 million pinball game, which I don't know why. I'm not in the industry.
So you get that side.
Yeah,
I'll get this side.
I think it's on wheels,
Yeah.
actually, so we can just kind of push it out. I got an Uber XL rolling up here.
Perfect.
But what's cool about this one, it's like 4 levels high. Like you can get the ball.
Yeah, right. It goes all the way up.
Yeah. Most pinball is linear.
Yeah.
And this one, as you
This is
see,
like,
is
nah.
vertical, which is, it doesn't make any sense to me, but
It's pretty awesome, though.
what does make sense is all of the cybersecurity information we learned. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense to me either. Dang it. Yeah.
Most of it made sense
Yeah,
to me.
I understood half the words. Kubernetes, I knew that one at the
Yeah,
end
heard
there.
of that.
Yeah.
Right? Something to do with canonical. I'm not sure.
Canonical. We learned about
We should start saying buzzwords.
endpoints,
XDRs.
zero threat,
That's the big deal.
0 days, zero trust.
That's right.
A lot of zeros.
Oh, man.
All today. But we want to thank all of our guests for joining us today and everybody that came out to the Pinball Hall of Fame to join us for this little fun IT Pro TV event. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel I normally do, but head over to technado.com and you can find out about the podcast. You can also find out more about IT Pro TV and how you can save with us. So that's over at technado.com. But Daniel, thank you. I mean, Don wouldn't make the trip, but you, kicking and screaming, came.
Yeah, they made me. I wouldn't have came otherwise. But here I am. And I'm having fun regardless.
I asked everybody else, did you get to play any of the games today?
I have not played a single game.
Perfect. If you were to play one, what would it be? And do not say the game over there that we haven't mentioned
I
yet.
probably would play Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
The
that's
original
not bad.
Donkey Kong. It's right over there.
Yeah, I wish this was more arcade Hall of Fame than just Pinball Hall of Fame, because I'm with you, as I said, on those kind of games. But a lot of fun. I've had a chance to play a couple. I want to play the Metallica one. There's a Metallica pinball game.
I wonder if they've
over
got
there.
an original Moon Patrol. That was one of my
I don't
games,
know. I haven't
man,
seen
or a
that.
Time Pilot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll
All
be
right,
down.
well, let us know at technado.com and fill out the form and what your favorite pinball game was, and we'll say, yeah, cool, I agree. And thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week right here on Technado with Don Pizzette.